Hey girlfriends and boyfriends and everybody else who I have not addressed, what's up? Let's do a haul to start this shit up. I have lollipops, I have ice cream sandwiches, and I got a book. But we can't talk about that right now because my frozen goods are gonna melt, and if they melt, then I'm melting with them, you know? What is that quote from Frozen? Some people are worth melting for, so I gotta get home. So I'm actually gonna end this clip. Hey, my name's Bailey. Welcome. Let's talk about reading. I haven't done it a lot recently this year. It's been tough. Don't look at my third eye, alright? I know she's there, I know she's huge, but don't look at her. It's disrespectful. But reading this year, not going well. I don't like to look at my Goodreads goal because when I do, I see how far behind I am. I haven't looked in a hot second, so like, we're struggling basically. I've basically given up, by the way, because I think I've read like 13 or 14 books, so like, we ain't gonna succeed. I'm gonna still try and read as much as I can by the end of the year. Have I given up on achieving my Goodreads goal? Absolutely. You know what? Whatever. We're just trying to read, enjoy ourselves, you know, really vibe out, because the vibes in my life have been off. And I want reading to come back into my life because it's been very much out of my life. By the way, my hair looks like straight hay right now because I showered and I didn't blow dry it and I haven't styled it. So like, don't look at the third eye, don't look at the hair. Anyways, let's talk about reading. I'm not really reading anything right now. I mean, like, that's a lie because I am technically, but like, I'm not gonna talk about that here because I'm not like actively reading. That sounds like ominous. It's nothing. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But let me tell you what's going on. So basically, I'm going to university in like 3 weeks. Like, I'm moving across the country. I hate my hand gestures right now. I know I talk too much with my hands, but it's okay. We'll be fine. But I'm moving across the country. I live in Western Canada, and I'm going to Eastern Canada in 3 weeks. So that's a big life change. I have 3 weeks to kind of, you know, chill here in Yeehaw country. But in terms of books, I'm not bringing a lot of physical ones. I mean, like, I kind of want to bring a lot of physical ones, but I shouldn't. So logistically, I should be reading big books and sequels. Am I going to be doing either of those things in this video? No. Because I know the right decision and I'm actively making the wrong one. It's called self-awareness. But yeah, basically, that's just all to say that I have like 3 weeks to start stuff and hopefully finish them, because I don't want to start something here and then like be halfway through it, because then I have to bring it and that's just gonna be inconvenient for me. So that was a long preface. Let's just talk about what I'm gonna be reading. Basically, oh, I remember I started that. I'm in a study group for university, you know, trying to get prepared and like set myself up on a good foot. Have I been procrastinating all the work for that and basically done nothing for it? Also yes. But what I have learned is that I feel very stupid. I'm doing STEM. Why? I don't know. But it makes me feel very dumb and I'm very scared. But because I've been like trying to do STEM work and then subsequently feeling really inadequate and having a lot of imposter syndrome, I now want to read a classic and feel intelligent. Does reading a classic really have anything to do with my STEM university work? No, but it'll make me feel smart anyway. So I picked up The Trial by F. Kafka, but I don't know his first name. It doesn't say his first name anywhere. It just says his last name, which is Kafka. Okay, well, his first name starts with F. The Trial. This is, oh dude, is he also German? I think he's German or Russian, one of the two. This is making me feel stupider. Maybe I made a mistake. This is like a classic, I'm pretty sure. Basically, this book follows a guy named Joseph K. And he gets arrested one day and put on trial, but he doesn't know what crime he's allegedly committed or what crime he needs to defend himself against. And so the whole book is, I'm pretty sure, going through that. Like, nobody's really giving him answers, so, you know, it's probably a bit of a crisis, you know, some mental questioning. It sounded interesting, and I wanted to read a classic. Also, this is not going to be like my top priority read. I would like to just read like at least 10 pages a night of this book. That's a very small goal, I know, but I don't like setting ambitious goals because if we look at my Goodreads goal, obviously they're not going to be achieved. But yeah, I just want to read like a few pages before I go to bed every night of a classic, you know? Try and like get them brain cells up. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing with this. My like active read, I guess, quote unquote, is going to be Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. This is a YA fantasy that I actually read 4 years ago. I read this when I was in grade 9. And I absolutely love this. This was either the first or the second, it doesn't really matter which, but I think it was my first queer book I ever read. And I absolutely fucking adored it. The main character is gender fluid and they have a female love interest, and I ate that shit up as a young closeted queer. I loved it. Oh, did I just fucking come out? Didn't really mean to do that. Anyway, we'll just roll with it. But yeah, I don't remember a lot about this. It's a duology, so I really want to read the sequel. So I need to reread this one because, again, it's been 4 years. It's been too many. I know the general plot, but like not enough. Basically, this book follows our gender fluid protagonist, Sal, and they are a thief. And they're trying to like escape poverty, basically, and they end up getting involved in this audition to become one of the queen's left hand, which are basically the queen's personal assassins. And it's all revolving really around this assassin competition, or this competition to become the replacement assassin for the queen, because she ended up, like, one of her assassins died, so they need like a replacement, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's basically like, it's a fight to the death, so there's a lot of, you know, death. I really loved this the first time, so I'm hoping I love it again, because I would hate to dislike it, because that would just ruin some of my past memories. So yeah, I'm really excited to get back into this. I read this super fast the first time because I was just so entranced by the whole thing, so I'm excited to get on with this. But yeah, that's it. I will catch you when I read something and we get productive. There's not really much else to talk about. That sucks. All right, bye. Hello everyone. I am having a delightful time reading Mask of Shadows. I am 80 pages in and I love it. I love it a lot. I'm having a great fucking time, if you can't tell. Okay, what should I start with? First off, I'm about to talk very highly about this book because I love it. It has memories associated with me, just a positive, like, you know, a fondness, one could say. But with that being said, I think this is a debut. If not, it does read like a debut. And so I feel as though I should preface that if you're into fantasy, and like especially high fantasy, and like you read a lot of it, you're probably not gonna like this because it reads like a debut. There's a little bit of telling, a lot of telling in this book. It's not that bad. And then there's like really noticeable info dumping at times. So like I love this, except I do realize it's probably not like technically amazing. I'm having a great time anyway. But yeah, there's not a lot of development before we get into the plot. The plot like starts at like the 40-page mark. Like we get really fast into it. It's very fast paced, which I'm really enjoying. That's all to say, writing wise, it's probably not the best fantasy ever. It's probably not formatted perfectly, whatever. And I can see that, but I don't care. I absolutely adore this. I don't know how I synopsized this before, but I'll redo it. Basically, our main character, gender fluid Sal, before I continue synopsizing, in this book, I am absolutely loving the way that their gender is being handled. Basically, they use all pronouns, she, he, they. It basically goes off of how they are presenting on each day. So, like, when they're presenting femininely, they're like, refer to me with she. If I'm presenting, like, neither, refer to me as they. You know, you can catch on to this. So I'm loving that. And with that being said, like throughout the book, when people meet Sal, they like there's a lot of asking. Like one of my favorite characters, I don't know his name is Four. he just referred to Sal, and this is one of her competitors who's trying to kill her, by the way. He was like, if I were to hypothetically be talking about you behind your back, how would I refer to you? And I was like, even when you're trying to kill someone, being respectful, like, that's good. That's attractive. Not saying I'm attracted to 4, but also I like 4. The point being, I like that even though this is fantasy, like, people are still respecting gender identity and, like, asking about people's preferences, which I really enjoy. Just so I note that. Anyway, back to the synopsis. Main character, Sal. They are a thief from this small town. Basically, they're poverty-stricken. And the queen of this land has their left hand, which is basically their personal assassins. There's 4 of them, I do believe. Amethyst, Opal, Emerald, Ruby. I think that's all of them. And basically, Opal has died. So these auditions are being held for them to find a replacement for Opal. So Sal ends up going and auditioning to be Opal, and this book is basically it's focusing around the competition, which is the audition to become Opal, and it's all these thieves and other assorted people. There's thieves, there's like killers, like street fighters, stuff like that, all fighting to the death to win the spot as Opal. So that's what's going on in this book. And I remember the general plot of this book, but do not remember any of the ins and outs. And it's getting to be a problem because all these people are fighting to the death, and I'm starting to get attached to some of our competitors. And it's a problem because I don't know who dies. I don't remember. And so I cannot guard my heart against the pain I will feel later in this book. Like, I love 4 a lot and I don't want to see him go. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Something I'm also enjoying, like, between the competitors, there's, like, you know, pre-friends that came into this, so 4 has a few friends, and I'm just loving, like, the camaraderie between some people. Not all of them. Some of them are just straight there to kill people, but there's some camaraderie. Like, Sal is trying to, you know, kind of not become, like, fully, like, buddy-buddy with 4 and his compatriots, but, like, trying to, you know, not have, like, the worst relationship. And I just love that, like, there's, like, banter, so even though, like, objectively they have to try and kill each other, like, they're not really. And I can't really explain this well, but, like, it's funny to me, and it's cute. It's fun. And that was a horrible description, but basically I like the relationships that are forming between people, is basically what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. It is definitely not ruining my previous view of the book, because I was really scared going into this that I would end up hating this. I am going to keep reading until, like, midnight, and then maybe check in, or maybe go to sleep, or maybe keep reading. Not sure yet. I could definitely get to the halfway mark today, so I think I might try that, or get as far as possible, because I just love this. It's so fast-paced and action-packed, and I'm having a good time. In terms of, like, the world building, it's a little all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of messy. But again, I'm letting it slide, so having a good time. I also have a question going out to the world. I have a Kindle. I had it for like 5 years, and then one day it just like stopped turning on, which I'm like, I respect it, you know, you're old, so you had to dip out at some point. So I would like to repurchase a Kindle, but I don't know, is there like, there's different versions of them. If you have a Kindle, please share your opinion on which one I should get, because it's an investment. I don't want to have to be rebuying Kindles and stuff like that. So please comment down below which Kindle you have and whether or not you like it and whether or not you'd recommend it, because I would really like to know in terms of what I'm going to buy, because I want to have an e-reader for university, because like obviously having all these physical books is not viable when living in a resident situation. So yeah, thank you very much if you do so. Let's chat, dudes. So, I've read things. Multiple things. Mask of Shadows. I finished this 2 days ago. I ended up giving this 5 stars, but that's a 5 stars with a heavy asterisk next to it. Because I gave this 5 stars because I just absolutely adore this book. I enjoy it greatly, and I have a fondness toward it, so that is a rating purely based on personal enjoyment. My rating system flips back and forth depending on the book and depending on the circumstance, whether I'm rating things more objectively or rating things more based on personal enjoyment. That's my dog's barking, whatever. There's exceptions where I'll just rate things purely based on how I feel about them personally, and that's what I'm rating in this case, because I just absolutely love this book and like what it means to me, being the first queer book I ever read and having that place in my heart. So I give this 5 stars. If I were to rate this objectively on quality, 2, maybe a 3 on a good day, not gonna lie. This is a debut novel, I checked it, and it reads like such. It, writing-wise, is maybe a little rough. It's pretty messy, to be honest, and like it's kind of hard to follow at times. Writing-wise, like there's scene jumps where stuff doesn't really make sense, and there's lines where you don't know what character is saying a line, which can be distracting. Why is this chair so squeaky? Oh, now it's not doing it. Anyway, no, there it is. Yeah, but there's like some info dumping, and like the world is introduced really weirdly in the beginning. Like it kind of info dumps information about the world, but then doesn't explain it well enough. You gotta pick it up throughout, and like I found it fine, because again, I'm giving this book passes for things like writing because I just genuinely enjoy it. So in terms of whether I'd recommend it, probably not, I guess. In terms of being a fantasy book with LGBTQ plus rep, it's excellent. The way that sexuality and gender is treated in this book is wonderful, because despite being a fantasy world, like, it's not purely homophobic for the sake of like medieval times aesthetic, everyone's homophobic. Like, no. They're treating sexuality and gender as we would treat it now. Like, what are your pronouns? What do you want me to call you? Like, people asking those kind of questions, you know, murder and medieval kind of hierarchy shit on the side. And I enjoy that a lot, you know? Sometimes you don't want to have, like, gay torture porn in fantasy stuff, so I really like that about this book. So I guess if you are looking for queer fantasy content, this is not the worst. Okay, this chair needs to stop. But if you're a big fantasy reader, I don't think this book will hit for you, just because of the writing. Like, you've probably read things that will have way better writing than this, so it'll be very noticeable that this writing is a little bit, like, poorer, I suppose. But if you're, like, not really a big fantasy reader, maybe, or you don't read a lot, I feel like this would be fine for you. Basically, it reads like a debut and you're going to read those flaws. I'm biased, so it's like hard to objectively talk about it. So yeah. Basically, I love this, but you may not. So I want to read the sequel like now, but at the same time, like I have other things to do. But I think I'm gonna read this now and like start this tonight, just so I can get this duology out of the way before I leave for university. Oh, another thing about this. Relationships aren't developed badly per se, but a little fast, to be honest. Again, I'm biased, so I'm letting things slide, but the romance in this is very lacklusterly developed. Like, it's a very fast one. Not to say it's, like, poorly done, it's just quickly done, and it's not, like, the best done romance. Basically, this is not the best done book, but I love it. So, that's that on that. Next up, we have How the King of Elfame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. I read this and finished it yesterday. Absolutely adored this, actually. I gave it 4 stars because I was gonna give it 5, and I just, like, it wasn't a 5. It didn't have the 5 feeling, right? Because The Cruel Prince I gave 4 stars. In hindsight, maybe we give it 3, but we'll leave it. I gave The Wicked King 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books of all time. And then The Queen of Nothing I gave 1 star. So I'm glad I liked this, because I was very skeptical going into it. I think Queen of Nothing, like, legitimately ruined the trilogy. So I was really scared going into this, because I was like, oh no, we're gonna have more content with this new reformed Cardan, and that's not gonna work out for me, because I fucking hate what Holly Black did with this character in the last book. Surprisingly, didn't hate this. Okay, first off, this is a short story collection of stories from Cardan's perspective, from The Cruel Prince, following stuff before the series, during the series, and after the series. I do not want to synopsize The Cruel Prince. Do not make me. You probably know what The Cruel Prince is. But I adored this. I loved the stuff that was pertaining to Cardan before the start of the series and during The Cruel Prince. There was no content from The Wicked King from his perspective, which I was kind of disappointed about because it is my favorite book. But the content we had in this book from after The Queen of Nothing actually didn't bother me too much. It wasn't my favorite parts of the story. That's all to say, I really loved this stuff about childhood Cardan. And surprisingly, I really like the stuff about Cardan and Nicasia's relationship, because that's not who he's actually with in the series. That's like a previous relationship. I actually really like the content pertaining to their relationship. It made me pretty sympathetic toward Cardan because it was kind of rough. But yeah, anyway, this is also illustrated. I'm trying to find an illustration that I really liked and I can't find it. Here, this is an illustration I really like from this. This is Jude and Cardan. I just thought it was really pretty, so you can look at it. Overall, really enjoyed this. It didn't give me 5-star energy, but it was definitely a good addition to the series, and I'm not mad it exists. In terms of my TBR for the next 2 weeks, because there's now 2 weeks before I go to university, and that is stressing me out. There are books I would really like to get done before I leave, and so I'll show them to you. They're over there. Okay, well, there's a lot of books I want to get done, but like, I don't know, these are some main ones. So we have The Shadow Cabinet by Maureen Johnson. This is the 3rd book in the Name of the Star or Shades of London series, and it's the last book for me to read in that series because the finale hasn't come out, but it's been like 7 years, so I'm not sure if it ever is going to, but I do want to read this because there was a cliffhanger at the end of the last book, so need to get this done. We have Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. This is the 3rd book in the Carry On trilogy. I'm out of breath from standing up. That's really fucking sad. But yeah, this came out in July, I think. And I just want to finish this trilogy to get it like over with. I don't want to have this on my plate anymore because I genuinely hated Wayward Son. Like, I like Carry On, don't like Wayward Son, don't like Rainbow Rowell. Like, I just want to get this done. And this one's like a chunkier one, but Rainbow Rowell has pretty easy to read writing. And I really do like the magic system in these books, so I'm excited to finish this series as much as I'm dreading having to reach into these books and read the characters again because I hate a lot of the characters. My favorite character is Agatha, then Baz, and then all the other ones I hate, basically. Agatha was my least favorite character in Carry On, and now she's suddenly my favorite one. It's funny how we develop character development for both of us. And then I have this book, which is When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. This is a YA contemporary that was given to me by my best friend Ava, and my friend Ava, whom I just said, annotated it for me, and I would really like to read this because she annotated it for me, and I'm going to be bringing this to university anyway, but I feel like I want to read it while I'm still in the same city as her so I can discuss it with her in person. So yeah, I want to get this in as well. I wanted to start reading this today, but I also had to finish, like, that duology. I don't know what to do. There's a lot of things going on. I was going to put a quart of whatever, Silver Flames on this list, but then I was also like, I don't really want to read that at all. So I'm not going to make that a priority for the next 2 weeks. If I get to it, I'd be surprised. But just know it's also on my radar, technically. I haven't started The Trial, by the way. The other book I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Haven't started, so we'll see when I do that. I don't know, I'm stressed. I've been packing today, and it's not been fun. Okay, I'm gonna go and see what I'm doing, because I don't know. Guess what, people? I don't think I mentioned this, but Mask of Shadows did not have a map in it, which sucked, because I basically zoned out every time they talked about geography, because there's no way I was going to keep track of what was going on. Like, they were talking about what's east, what's north of this body of water, and I'm like, zoned out. No idea. But the sequel, like, congrats Lindsay Miller, because girlfriend got a map and now I can finally see what this world looks like. Safe to say I was wrong about a lot of things, but it's nice to finally get to see what this world looks like, and congrats to Lindsay Miller for getting a map in her second book, because it really was difficult with the first one. What's up? This is a horrible angle. That sucks. This is just still bad. Okay, I don't care. So, because this vlog is getting long, I'm going to end it, but I will wrap it up with some closing thoughts. I started Rune of Stars, and I did the math on how many pages I need to read a day to complete my TBR in the weeks coming before I leave on the 30th, and I need to read 124 pages a day, which seems reasonable, but like, yesterday I only read 29 pages of this book, so I'm already terribly behind. So, we'll see how this goes. I'm a little concerned. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to do like a 24-hour readathon somewhere in here. But yeah, this is going fine so far. In the 30 pages I've read, it's fine. I think the writing has slightly improved, although starting this book, I kind of realized how little about the world was explained in the first book. Like, the magic in this book, like, there's mages and they use runes for whatever, and like, even now, I still have no idea how this magic works. I just know there's runes. I don't know how they work. And I just realized while reading this book, I'm like, wait a second. What's the magic system? Like, again, just writing things that maybe are less than perfect. Maybe far less than perfect. Anyways, still excited to read this. Just thought I'd note that. Again, it comes down to the fact that I am biased toward the first book and inherently the second one. So I'm fine with the flaws in these books. So wouldn't necessarily recommend these, but I'm having a great time anyways, and pick them up at your own discretion. But they do have great LGBTQ+ rep, and in this book we're already getting those themes thrown out there. So that's great. I'm having fun despite not understanding inherent parts of the world. Anyways, that's it for this vlog. I'm gonna go. So I will catch you in the next one. I'm gonna start another vlog like either tonight or like tomorrow, and I'll keep chronicling my reading in the weeks coming until I leave for university. So, catch you later, boys. I've been Bailey. Bye-bye.